start. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Lakeville Open Space Committee meeting, Thursday, July 3rd, 6 p.m. at the Lakeville Senior Center. Chairman David Zalonis, and all active members are present except for Brian Reynolds, and Liz Nash had submitted her resignation in June, and it was, I believe it was accepted by the Select Board on June 24th. I know it was on their agenda. So anyways, we do have a quorum, 5 out of 6. LakeCAM is recording the meeting. Is anybody else recording?
No.
No. All right, so this meeting is now called to order. First item is the review and approval of the June 5th meeting minutes. Is there any discussion?
No.
Everybody's good with them?
So I make a motion to accept the minutes of June 5th?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting minutes are approved. Then the commission updates. The Assawamsett Pond Complex, I did attend their last meeting. And just the key things out of that were they are looking to hire some rangers. They need some rangers if anybody knows anybody or is interested. Also have 4 new baby eagles, which is pretty exciting. And the herring report is a really good year for the herring run. The water levels are good. They're at a good level right now. Serpent is on the Nemasket River and Long Pond cleanup for invasive weeds and sediment. They're into the fundraising portion of that now, gathering. I think they're looking for $3 or $4 million, from different sources to fund that cleanup. And I know they got a lot of it lined up with us. So they've done the planning. Now they're doing the fundraising, and then I'm sure they'll start work shortly. There was no mention of Betty's Neck, and I didn't think to ask, but so it sounds like that was delayed again as far as the reopening of the visitor center, because unless anybody's heard anything else, I think it got pushed off again. And it's been too hot anyways. And the only other thing is the next meeting is September 10th, 9 a.m. at the police station, and that's it. But things are going pretty well. For the Conservation Commission, Debbie?
Oh, so I went to the meeting, and Nancy was very happy to share this information with you. I think I have mine. Okay, you can take one and pass it out.
And I just want to state what this is, Debbie, so we can have the notes. State what the document is, so the Kathy can get it in the notes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
State what the document is.
Oh,
Yep.
all right. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact wording of it.
I read the title off the top, I don't know. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Department of Agricultural Resources, and it's an agricultural conservation contract, is that what it is? That's the Nemasket Cranberry Company, which we'll talk about in the meeting.
Yeah, so it looks like it's a,
It's a 10-year,
10-year.
yeah, agricultural covenant, 10-year,
That's,
and we'll add this
yeah.
to go through the details. We add this to our conservation restriction properties list. And we have an expiration date with this, so we can, looks like,
March 35.
yeah. So this property is in good shape as far as conservation for the next 10 years. And I'm not sure exactly what parcel numbers they are and how many acres is involved. But I'll get it into the list, update that list, and send it out to everybody. And there's a lot of pages. These things are always a lot of pages, so. There are parcel IDs in here, but there's a number of them.
Yeah.
And it looks like pretty good size. Yeah, one of them 62.5 acres.
It's
138
acres altogether.
Okay.
So that's great.
Yeah, all right, yeah. Approximately 138 acres protected areas. So that's very good news.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right. Thank you, Debbie. Anything
That's
else
great.
out of that meeting?
No,
That's-
not
that's-
that would refer to us.
That's excellent, thank you.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Historical Commission update?
We have nothing new.
Okay.
Same
No
with
update.
Brian.
And the Community Preservation Committee, of course, that was Liz who was resigned, so we didn't have a chance to check their webpage, but no update on the CPC for today.
I can tell you what the town meeting of, a $10,000 grant was received to repair more stones at Thompson Hill Cemetery.
Okay, so that's a second round?
That's the second time for that.
Okay.
The Historical Commission in town want to get it on the National Register of Historic Places. So in order to do that, we have to get some work done in the cemetery to make it a viable possibility.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Anything else on the committee, commission updates? Okay, next agenda item 4 is the open space plan status. Joe?
Okay, so the open space plan has been sent to DCR. They're reviewing it. We have letters from the planning board, SERPAD, the historical commission. We're waiting for a couple of other letters to come in. Tracy's contacted the people. We had revisions that the planning board wants to make that you sent to all of us. And if it's okay with everybody, I'll turn those in to the town, to Tracy to get updated. And also, we had a letter from SERPAD that said open space plans can be 10 years now instead of 5.
Right.
So do we want to make it a 10-year action plan? And I will spread out some of the goals and objectives. Because we had them only for 5 years, but now we can spread them out further.
Yeah, we should definitely do that, and I think when I talked to Tracy, she thought that the DCR, they would come back with that anyways.
Right, so I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna spread them out, and I talked to Tracy yesterday, and she thought that was a good idea. I said I'd bring it up at the meeting, and I'll get these changes to her this week.
Yep.
And then she'll have someone come in, and then we'll have to send it back to GCR.
Right, and I know Tracy said that we need to take a vote to approve those changes. So we'll do that. Was the other letters that were received, was there any other changes, or just planning board?
No,
and this
planning
one
board
here?
was the only one that sent changes.
Okay.
And SERP had the 10 years,
Right. And,
but the planning board was the one that sent the most.
So everybody did get a copy of the changes from the planning board, and now 10 years with Serpent, and it's also a good thing, which is going to be mandated anyways, because that's the regulations have changed from 7 to 10. So we have a motion to take a vote on accepting those changes from the planning board and 10-year.
Motion to accept?
Second motion?
And all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, it's unanimous. The changes to the open space plan are approved, and Joan, take
We'll get
care
them
of
to
it.
Tracy.
Again, Joan, amazing.
Yeah.
And Joan is amazing, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so we're getting there. Okay, next item is the open space committee town webpage, and which we did have the new email address, which I had asked Debbie to update, and I see that it is updated. So, thank you. So the phone number that was there was the general town hall number with no way to reach the open space committee. So now we have our own email address, so anybody wants to reach the open space committee, if they go on our webpage, they'll see the email address, and I do check it. I just it's a new one. It's still no emails yet, but it's working. And of course, they can always use regular mail to the town hall, attention open space committee. We do have a mailbox there for hard copy mail, and now we have the email address. And as far as the change with membership yet, it's next month we'll look at that. I'll put on the agenda. I believe it's been accepted by the select board about Liz's resignation, and it should make an open space on the committee, and then we'll have to look for a new vice chairman if anybody is of interest. Can think about it, and I'll put it on the agenda for next month if anybody wants to take on the vice chair position. We'll discuss that in August. But anything else on the webpage? Any other changes? No. Nope. It looks pretty good. We're pretty well up to date. All right, next agenda item 6 is the informational pamphlet, which is basically complete and in distribution.
It's beautiful. You did a great job.
Yeah, thanks. And we distributed
Beautiful.
at the town meeting.
Yeah, so I think approximately about 80 handouts at the town meeting would be my guess, because there was just over 100 people there.
Yeah.
So approximately 80 there, and then I put 50 at the town hall, and I think another
There's some
25.
here?
And yeah,
I saw them,
25 here
yeah.
and 25 at the library, so we got about, it's sort of, we got plenty more. There's 1,000. So the next thing is, what's the next event where we might be able to hand them out?
I mean, they're having the concerts, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice? I don't know how you get, people are not there for
Yeah.
picking up paperwork though,
Right.
so
No,
it might
that's
not be a
right.
good idea.
So, what is it, the Arts Festival?
Arts Festival,
That's,
yeah.
That's in the fall, is it?
October.
Yeah, arts and music.
So I keep that in mind, and of course, I'm at the warehouse apparently. Does it make sense for me to give each of you some in case you fund it to somebody to hand them out? Is it?
I think it's a good idea.
Give you each a packet of like 25 you'll have on hand.
It's a good idea.
I'll bring that to the next meeting.
Okay.
And then we'll, probably fall will be the next handout event. Okay. And then agenda item 7, the transit-oriented development, Lakeville MBTA station update, and Bob.
Yes, I went to the meeting. It's pretty interesting, actually. It has really nothing to do with open spaces as far as we're concerned, because it's all paved. Now, the MBTA says they recommend that we turn it into housing,
Are you serious?
just what we need, more
The
housing.
MBTA said that?
People stood up, 3 or 4 people stood up and spoke, and every one of them said, we don't want housing.
Right,
The board said, we don't want housing.
right.
So they're talking about a grocery store. Everybody is leaving town to do their groceries.
Right.
My wife goes all the way to Plymouth,
Yep.
to Market Basket. I mean, everybody leaves to do that stuff. So
right.
they're suggesting, I mean, not they, the board and people that we're talking are suggesting something like a grocery store. Or worst case, not necessarily worst case scenario, another scenario would be some kind of something that would bring people in, like something for kids, some kind of a thing like trampoline park, something that would bring people in with other stores there, and restaurants. We don't have sit-down restaurants.
So that, it was basically collecting ideas on what possibilities they
Right.
could look into for,
Right.
with developers, because they own the land, they're gonna find a developer. What was the town interested in putting in there is what the meeting was about.
Yeah, but they don't want to put any more housing because there's so much housing in that area to start with, and then we're also
Is
talking
it-
about
is it-
maybe putting housing into Lakeville Hospital.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just too much
But is
going
there-
on for housing.
Is there any push from the state to put housing in there?
I don't think so.
Because we, have all the 40B mandate and all that.
Yeah, there was a little talk
10%
about the
yet.
40B, but I think that it's going to be taken care of by the other projects that they're being spoken about, so.
I didn't know if they're gonna push something through. Right, well, it's definitely gonna be interesting, so they're gonna meet how often?
I
or-
thought-
Yeah,
so
there's the map, by the way, there's the whole parking lot with the train station right here. So they're gonna keep the purple section,
You can just
and
flash
that's
that
about
like
5
that.
acres. It's all paved, so we'd have to dig it out. This is just a aerial picture of it. So this would be the MBTA's, and this is the surplus properties, 200,000 plus square feet. I think that's like 5 acres, I'm not positive, but
Yeah.
So the purple's going to be dedicated to Cape Cod Express? Is that what?
it's MBTA, but it may be for the Cape Cod Express. I mean, they're still talking about that, they're still not
Okay.
putting their finger on it and saying this is definitely gonna happen, so.
They own the land and it's being used for that now. so.
Yeah, and then one of the other questions was to the MBTA, you've done this for other towns, what are they doing? Well, a lot of the towns did use housing, so
So
I
what-
think that's why the MBTA is recommending housing, but they don't realize what our situation is.
Yeah, so what, did they set up a next meeting, or is there a regular meeting?
There's nothing set up right now. I'm sure we're gonna see something come out of it, because the board's gonna wanna talk to, they wanna set up a meeting where people can come in and speak, or understand what's going on. So more of a meeting for the people that live here.
Okay, so this last notice came from the town administrator, Andrew Sukafor, so I guess at the next meeting, he'll notify us as well.
Right.
And then, if you're monitoring this, so, I'll definitely, send it to everybody, and Bob, if you can,
Yeah.
as long as you're available, if you're not at the
Yeah,
day
no.
of the meeting, then we'll
No
find
problem.
some- we'll cover it, but.
I mean, it's really not an open space issue, but
Yeah.
It's not.
just so we know what's going on.
Yeah, that's what
Exactly.
Andrew, he
Yeah.
said here, basically, just to keep us in the loop.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly planning and select board.
Couldn't they donate it?
Right.
They could donate it for open space.
Well, it's all paved and everything.
It's a
They're
big
gonna dig
parking
it up
lot.
for anyway, right?
Yeah. Anyways, well, thank you for covering that, Bob, and we'll see
My
what happens.
pleasure. It was very good.
We'll see what happens next. We're gonna make a skate park over there.
Yeah, rip it all up. Or make it a very large putt-putt.
There you go.
All right, so we'll wait to hear from Andrew on the next meeting and see where it goes. But
Okay.
everything takes a bit of time.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, next item 8 was the creation and maintenance of the properties list. And as we know, Chapter 61, we're all set on the conservation restrictions. Of course, the new one that Stephanie brought up today from, we'll add that to the list, and I'll redistribute the list. And then the other thing that I did, I had talked to the new town assessor about getting expiration dates on the conservation restrictions, and it was just general conversation month before, so this month I went to see him, but he wasn't in, so I sent an email requesting, and I sent him a copy of about 36 CRs on our list, including Chapter 61 10-year agreements, so we had asked if they could look up the expiration dates for us, because, it's part of our charge from the select board to have that. And see if they're able to do it, and it's been like a week and a half and I haven't heard anything back. But if I'll go in again this month and offer, some volunteer help. I was saying they've got, a couple of people there that could probably, and they know the files, they could probably fit it in here and there in over a month, look up 30, and we already have a couple of them, and this one, the new one, we have one, so there's only about, 34, 35 to look up in the paper files. But anyways, I have requested it, so that's an open item still on the list, is to get those expiration dates. I think everything else is in good shape on the properties list. Okay, any other discussion? We move on to the outreach. Okay. Agenda item 9 is the outreach program for land conservation, and last meeting, I'm trying to get some more involvement. I had asked Lynn if she would do the cover letter, but all the information is coming in through me from different organizations, so it only made sense for me to do it, like Lynn mentioned that at the last meeting, but I was trying to share, but
Thank you.
but it makes sense. So I do have just a start of that, but let me see what else I got in my notes on the outreach. Of course, the first thing is, number one thing was the mailing list, and we've been working on that for months. So tonight, the last changes to it, and I know Joan has some markups, just a few, and I think we can, I sent the copy of where we are now with that list. And if I can find it.
Too many pages, I didn't want to print it.
No, yeah, okay, well, anyways, I had taken Joan's markup from last meeting, that everybody agreed to go ahead and make those deletions. There were some question marks in there. I went back to Joan through an email for clarification on the question marks. There were 2 that I forgot to put in my email. One was mailing number 85, which was the Stiles and Hart Brick Company.
Oh, the brick company on
yeah.
PS Avenue, yeah.
Yeah, but I looked at it, it's all wetland.
Yeah,
There's nothing,
okay.
nothing on it.
All right,
And so,
that can leave us.
what, is that something that should go into some type of conservation protection? It's wetland, it's not going anywhere, right?
People don't usually want wetlands
Yeah,
for
I know,
conservation restrictions.
yeah. Yeah, so, and I know the dollar value is real low, so if they're paying taxes, it's only like,
Yes, I would say, I looked at that myself today and I left it because I was gonna ask you
Okay.
about that.
so, where, you know, there's, it's not
I don't
buildable,
think
it's
so,
low
right.
value, it's just sitting there.
Right.
So we'll take that
Right.
one off.
Yep.
Okay, and then there were 2 parcels involved, but 1 mailing number.
Right.
The other one was, the Lions Club was still on there,
Right.
and that is a charitable
I
organization.
jokingly put a question mark for that. I said, we got 2 lions here.
Yeah.
You can send yourself a letter.
And, you know, the Lions are exempt from property taxes, being a charitable organization, so I think that one can come off as well. So those are the 2 that I forgot to, that I question
Right.
marks I have to get back on.
Yeah,
Before we get into Jones, the other ones that the last,
So I have a few. I mean, we can take the Nemasket cranberry out because they're already way ahead of us.
Yep, they're
way
already
ahead
in
of us.
anything in a CR should be taken off, so the Nemasket comes off.
Right.
Okay.
I also had the Sylvia Family Land Trust, they're all bogs and wetlands.
Okay,
I think that could come
so
off.
they're, you know, they're not buildable.
Not buildable.
Did we
And
ever-
not really, I mean, people don't really want wetlands and cranberry bogs because they're a lot of work
Yeah,
to rehabilitate.
yeah. So there's really not much potential.
And not
for
much
them
potential for open space. Nobody would probably put a CR on them.
Okay, and so you've got these marked on here.
Right,
Okay.
I don't want to give this to you.
Yeah.
I mean, these 2, I mean, these are all the same mailing address. So I think maybe just 17 and 18,
Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 7 pieces of property.
Yeah.
6 of them with one name, 1 with another, but all the same mailing address. So you would put maybe Hazel Campbell / William Dooley and call it 1 instead of 2. Because the same,
Yeah, it could be, we don't know, it's 2 separate people living at the same address, but they're saying have the same mailing address, so.
7
I think we
pieces.
sent 2 separate
7?
letters.
What's one more letter? I mean,
Yeah.
that's not a big deal. Yeah.
And maybe. But they all have the same mailing address.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we can send 2, one to Campbell and 1 to Dooley.
Right, I mean, there
It's
are,
only, the cost is about $1
right,
each.
doesn't matter. So those are the ones I had. Then what else?
I printed the wrong one again.
That's the abandoned cranberry bog on County Street. You know the one I'm talking about? Right where you come off the highway?
Yeah, that's right in,
That's an abandoned cranberry
So
bog.
that's another one that's not
So-
gonna do anything with, so, just put an X by it so I know to delete it, so I don't have a
Okay.
question. So
Okay.
I'm gonna take that off, because it's not gonna go to conservation.
That's Lakeville Self-Storage on County Street.
Yeah, and that's definitely come off.
This is the bowling alley and Dewey's Restaurant. I think they
That's what
could,
the name of it. I couldn't remember what the name of the restaurant was. Yeah.
yeah. You think that can go?
I,
Well, I mean,
That would be an
it-
awful thing to clean up.
Yeah.
And it's a business, isn't it a business zone?
Yeah, so, yeah.
I think that can
It's not-
go.
It's not gonna go into an open space of any kind, it's gonna have to be bought by a developer that wants to clean it
Right.
up, right?
I think the Lions Club can go.
Yeah. I already marked that thing.
That's just a name change for some, he's deceased, but his wife is still there. And this is the Lakeville Athletic Club,
Okay, yeah.
So that
that's a
can go.
business, yeah.
and that's what I got for you.
All right, and again, if I get confused when I'm, does everybody agree with those
Yeah.
markups? Do we, do that? Okay. Yeah, no, definitely. So and if I have any questions, I will email you again
All
for
right.
clarification, but I think I got it.
I think you got it.
And the only other thing we talked about at the last meeting was, if it was between 5 and 6 acres, if it had a house on it, it might not be eligible for chapter 61,
Right.
because you basically, the rule of thumb is subtract an acre if there's a house on it, well, that would make.
Yeah, and you have to have 5
Right,
acres.
But, when I was going through the list, I found one at 5.17 acres, it was in chapter 61, that had a house on it. So that kind of, I wasn't sure.
Theory.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically true. It happened to be, a small house, and they were running a farm, so it was a 61A. So they had 5 acres through an agricultural.
And 5
chapter
viable
six-
acres.
Yeah. So, and, it was just a small house and a barn, and so that was down 5.17, you're down near 5, and that one was able to do something. All these ones, most of them had houses on them, so you got like, between 5 and 6 acres of a house on it, if you take an acre out there. But there's possibility, they got a house on, a quarter acre, and they got another 5 acres that they could go for chapter 61, so I didn't delete them.
I mean, it's hard to know because we're also looking for CRs,
Yeah.
but a house lot like that is not gonna be a CR.
No, but they may be able to do, so chapter 61, and if they're not running a farm, that would be a 61B. they can apply for.
Right, recreation,
That would be the only thing they could apply for, but
Right.
it is something, so.
right, but I mean,
Should-
it has to be actually 5 acres of
Usable-
land that could
yeah,
be
usable
included
land.
as recreation.
Has
or
nothing
farm,
built on
right.
it, yeah. So, I mean, it was a recommendation from one of the conservation trusts that anything under 6 we should take off. A lot of other programs have only gone with 10 acres and above, and we're going all the way down to 5 with this list. Should I go ahead and delete those with houses on them, even though we have a precedent of one at 5.17 that was in chapters?
Yeah.
Because the odds of them, most of them have big houses on them.
I would,
If it's
I hate to say it,
yeah, if it's
But I
vacant,
would.
vacant land, 5 to 6, we're gonna keep it on.
that's different, absolutely.
So the ones that I didn't put an X on, those were vacant land, but most of them have houses.
Yeah,
So I think, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take 5 to 6 acre off if it's got a house. We'll take them off. Okay, so we're gonna delete those. Just to give a count, let's see, I don't know if yeah, maybe I don't have it. I think we're at about 275, and if we take those off, we're gonna be closer to the 250 mark, so. And I went over all the costs of doing the mailing. I'll reach with Tracy. We would do the printing at the town hall. They have a small print charge per page. And it was recommended to keep the letter to one page. That was from the Mass DCR. They said, just one side of one page.
that makes
And
sense.
Tracy said if we needed 2 pages, we would do one piece of paper, 2 sides, but you still get charged for 2 prints, so it would double the printing cost, even though that's
This is
really
town
small.
business, why are we getting charged?
Well, I think it's through the printing company. They charge for every page printed so much, but it's a very small amount, .00, something.
I mean, it sounded like the town printed
No.
it, but they get it printed.
So, basically, we're approved for about a $300 expense in, the New Year's budget that is already in place. And about 2/3 of that is postage, about, 200 to cover postage, and about 100 to cover, envelopes, labels, and paper, and the printing. And of course, we'll do the envelope stuffing maybe
I was gonna
at
ask about-
at the end of a meeting, maybe if we can do it at the end of the September meeting, or we might have to call a special meeting to do
right.
an envelope stuffing. We'll figure that out. We got a couple months to figure that part out, but once we get everything printed at town hall, we'll print the labels up ahead. And that was another thing. I think this list, when I send it out, this is in the assessor format, and Excel is good, but from Tom Tracy, to print the labels, the mailing labels, and it needs to be in Excel, and there's a mail merge or something you do. But I think that has to be a format of, like 3 lines, name, street address, and we're all in 1 line across. Does anybody know if that works, or are we gonna have to reformat these into like 3 lines?
I haven't done Excel in a long time, but I think it will work. I don't know, I can test it.
Okay, because we need to determine that, because we may have to take them from this line format and put them into 3 lines. So,
I don't think so, but I'll check.
I know I've done single envelopes, and that's the way
It does, yeah.
it needed, but I don't know, that was a long
I
time
mean, I'm
ago.
using Word now mostly, so
Yeah.
I mean, I can check, but.
Yeah, so it's a mail merge in Excel is what I was told. So we need to do that. If we have to reformat them, and if we got about 250 or 240, we might, if we split it up and each take mailing numbers 1 through 40 or whatever. And I know Brian doesn't work on the computer, but if all of us would be able to take some, if it comes to having to reformat, we'd get 40 or so of them, take them. And the other thing is, some of the assessors, some of these, things are truncated here, and we might have to go back to the records of the assessor's office to clarify if something doesn't look right, name, street address, and, you know, usually the town, state and zip code should be pretty clear, but some of the names look a little funny, you know, they get truncated, so we're gonna have to go through at that final formatting and verification and split it up. But yeah, I guess the first thing to find out is, I was hoping somebody would know if we had to reformat or not, but we'll have to find that out. I took a quick look online, I've never done it, so I don't know. And Tracy probably knows. I can probably just ask her. So I'll plan on seeing her next week. And
Okay, so you'll ask her, so I will check it out.
Yeah, I'll do
Okay.
that, because I tried online, I couldn't,
Okay.
I don't know what to decide. Well, we don't have the expertise here, I'm sure Tracy does, because she was talking, she was pulling out the label things and everything, so. I'll get together with Tracy and we'll figure out the formatting, and I'll just email if we need to reformat. And when I get the mailing list updated with tonight's changes, I'll send it to everybody and ask who can take so many and put them in a reformat and check, you know, verify names and address, you know, look correct, you know, valid. So that's the mailing list, which is pretty complicated. But we're almost there. I
But
think,
we're there, though.
This month, yeah, this is
finally
going,
there.
and we'll be in the format, and we can, actually, if we're mailing in September, which is the plan, even if we have everything ready in July, we can print labels in July or August, you know, get them printed ahead of time, they're ready. And I'll go over everything with Tracy, so we can lay it all out. So that was the first thing, was the mailing list. The Masswood's DCR pamphlets that they said they would give us all that we want, where we're not mailing them, we're gonna probably put them at the town hall in the library. I haven't talked to the library yet, but we can put a stack there. And the good news is that the DCR forester, who he says he has an office in Plymouth, and he has tons of them there. He said, we just tell him what number, he'll just give them to us. You know, so there's no shipping or anything, he's just gonna you know, pick them up local, and we can drop them off at the town hall. So I will, I'll talk to him, once we have, let's say we have a final mailing list of 250, and of course you only get a small percentage replies, but I'll ask him what he's got experience with this, how many brochures we would need, and Masswood's recommended the Chapter 61 and the Protecting Your Legacy pamphlets, those two. If he says 100 of them, I'll ask 100, and then we'll put them in 2 locations, put them up, and they can be in place ahead of time. So that's the pamphlets. The letter. Okay, I'm missing a lot of information on the letter, but the format is going to be 1 page, and this isn't really a letter yet, but this is kind of what it's going to.
Rough draft?
It's not even a rough draft, it's a preliminary jotting down of a couple things. So, what it is, we're you know, Tracy has said we should use the Town of Lakeville, you know, header, so we've got that up top, and we can put that in color. We'll try and do it all on 1 page, and the input I've gotten is, you do an introductory paragraph saying, you know, what's the purpose of the mailing, this is what, you know, we're trying to help educate landowners on all these land conservation things and all that, and I'm still supposed to get a couple of sample letters. I'm supposed to have one next week now, and so that's why I kind of held off on that, and then there's a conclusion, you know, encouraging people to take advantage of all this stuff. And I'll get the wording from the letters when I get it, and if I don't, I have enough information, I can put that together. But the items that we wanted to talk about was, and they just put them in the bullets, so you got those opening and closing paragraphs from the Lakeville Open Space Committee with that header, and the items of the Mass DCR, Masswoods, and I was going to have website and pamphlets, and those are the titles of the 2, plus there are others. And just note there's hard copy available for pickup at the Town Hall Library when they're not there yet. Everybody's watching this. And the PDF is available online for viewing or download at their website, and I think that's the right website. So that's what, this is very preliminary, I just threw some stuff down. So we have those pamphlets that are going to be available, hard copy and online. The next one was the Wilderness Trust did agree to do a webinar for us. It'll be a live webinar sometime in October. We don't have a date or a title yet. But they said it would be an introduction to Wildlands Trust, their role in land preservation, an overview of the most frequently employed land protection strategies, and of course then they're going to have to give information for how to register for the webinar. So And that's something, as long as we put that in our letter, it's, everybody can go online, register, and get that information. The third thing was the Massachusetts, the DCR Town Forest. They're having an event in Middleborough in October, on October 4th. And they said we could piggyback off of this. Now, it's open first to Middleborough residents, but they take about 200 people, and once they issue a wave. So once the first wave is all Middleborough residents, and there'll be more openings. Then it goes to the local surrounding towns, like Lakeville. So we would be in the second wave, so we can put all the information on this event, which is October 4th in Middleborough. Starts at the town hall. They have some speakers on, I think it's mostly related to forest land management, conservation, the tax incentives, and they have the speakers. I believe they have refreshments. They have buses that are going to take people to 4 different local sites in Middleborough to look at different conservation that is being done, and so we can definitely put that in, and then there'll be registration information. Again, a lot of this I don't have all the information yet. And then the next one, the Mass DCR Service Forester for Southeastern Mass. He does provide free consultation on forest land conservation, so, and put that in the letter with his contact information, and I'm gonna run this letter by, all these entities, Mass Woods Wildlands Trust, and the DCR Forester, and have them make sure I'm not saying anything wrong in what they've offered. And then, of course, we have ourselves, the Lakeville Open Space Committee, and I just put and this can be reworded, but I just put answer general questions on land conservation in Lakeville and provide contact information for further detailed information, and put our email address, and they can put our mail too. But I'll be limited on space trying to keep the one page. But that's, and I don't think I left anything out. I think those are the things we want to offer. Because the original thought was the mailing with the Mouse Woods pamphlets and maybe a live event, which nobody does those anymore. So it's evolved into this. But the pamphlets will be available, live webinar. We've got a live event that we're going to be able to take advantage of, and free consultation, and of course, more exposure to the committee here with our email address to take questions in. So I'll have a better version of this letter I'll send out to everybody, hopefully in a couple of weeks. I'll get that sample letter next week. I'll massage this all up, see if I can pin some more things down, and we'll be a little further along. We need to pretty much have it wrapped up by our September meeting, because we want to send the mailing out and maybe that week or the week after. So, but I'll push this letter through and get it out to you. The next level hopefully it will be a draft that you can send comments back to me I can massage into final form. But that's the letter and the mailing list and the pamphlets, PCR event, and I think that's everything on the outreach program. So I think we've got pretty far along. So this is in July. We're talking August, September. 2 months, a little over 2 months. We'll be making a mailing, and by the end of October, everything will be out, and we'll just see what kind of response we get.
Perfect.
So it's coming.
Progress.
It took a long time to get the mailing list, but now the rest of it's coming together fast. Any other discussion on the outreach program? I think we'll be in good shape for next month. Yeah. Let's see, so agenda item 10, new business, discuss any correspondence, and of course we did get some correspondence about the fire station, email from the planning board asking if we have any comments. They kind of get left out to the end, but it's mostly the new fire station is really not a whole lot to do with open space. It's the town-owned land just north of the police station. And so we know what the land is. There's a lot of forest land on it, and I don't know if everybody read through it, but it looks like they said they're trying to minimize the impact on the forest land. Take out just what they need for the building and the parking, and keep visibility open. And then they are going to do some landscaping around, but keeping visibility open to the road. I think I remember reading that the police station being right next to it helped a lot with the visibility on 105. And they did have some detail on the plants, the placement, and how
I
they're doing it
saw
all.
that,
And
yeah.
it looks like very thorough to me, but does everybody have a chance to read through it and have any comments?
I looked at it, I didn't see that there was much we could actually say
Yeah.
as an
Yeah.
open space committee.
I would agree. Everybody have a chance to look at it? You need more time? They only gave us a couple of days, so, but I would
I
agree.
mean, I don't
It's
really
not,
think
it's
there
not
was-
really open space.
It's not really
No.
open
Yeah,
space.
I think it's just a courtesy to us.
I think it was.
But, and, all right, so I'll reply, no comment from open space, looks good. You know, they got a lot of work to do, but it's not a whole lot to do with us. Okay, and then, just the other thing, agenda items for next meeting, I mentioned, I'll put the vice chair position is open, so if anybody has been thinking about that. You know, think about, I'll put it on the agenda for next meeting, if anybody would like to step up to be vice chair, and then I think by then we'll know that it will be confirmed that there is an open seat on the committee, and we may, and I'm not sure how that gets advertised. I know it goes on the town web
On the
page,
town website.
and I think it's automatic there, and I don't know, we could put something into the newsletter too, or something that we have an opening. But we'll see, give it another month and see what comes out, and we'll discuss it next meeting and see, you know, besides, you know, what we need to do as far as the opening. Does anybody have any inputs on that? But it'll be, I'll put it on the agenda for next meeting. Anything else for next meeting, month's agenda? Okay, I think what we've got is enough to keep us pretty busy
Yeah, really
anyway,
got
so I'd
enough
like
to
to
keep us
get it all
busy.
cleaned up. Because after we do that, there are a lot of things like in the goals that we can go
Right,
after. But
exactly.
right now, I think we've got plenty going on, especially in the summer.
If we take some off, then the other
Yeah.
ones fill in.
Yeah, and some are just, you know, checks, but you know, the big thing, and we're pretty much done with the list creations, and now this outreach program is gonna come to an end over the next 3 months, so we'll be able to add a couple things. I think that's all I have on new business. Anybody have anything else? You had mentioned a meeting.
Oh, on Monday, the Agricultural Commission is meeting with the Select Board, and we're having a meeting with the Cape Cod Cranberry Growers Association.
And,
We don't know what the discussion's about, but AgCom's been invited to go to the meeting. I'm assuming they're gonna talk about cranberries and cranberry bogs and growth in Lakeville. But it's at the Select Board meeting at 6 o'clock.
Select board meeting.
Anybody wants to go?
6 o'clock this Monday, this coming
It's
Monday?
coming Monday, the 8th.
Where?
Here.
Here?
All right, we'll put that on as a possible, it would definitely be interesting. But and you're going, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so at least we got a representative there.
Yep.
All right, thanks, John. And was there anything else? Okay. And agenda item 11, the next meeting, first Thursday in August is August 7th, so 6 PM here at the Senior Center, so that'll be our next meeting. And that's all I have. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. All right, this meeting.